Alright. Why is it? Camera quality is not that great, but whatever. Fuck it. What's up, guys? It's been a while, hasn't it? Oh, God. I'm so sorry. It's just school and work and juggling a social life. It's hard. It's hard to include YouTube in that. That's why I've only been streaming, because it's like super easy just to throw on a stream while I'm playing Diablo. So that's kind of what I'm doing today. We're going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to kind of be super efficient. I'm going to play video games and make a YouTube video at the same time. So let's get right into it. So I just got out of class. Where am I going? I'm trying to do a greater rift here. Jesus. Do I not have any? Okay, well, I guess it's normal rift time. Anyway, so I just got out of class. My first class of the day, well, I'm not going to say first class of the day, but it was management. And what we've been talking about for a few sessions now is, oh, this is hard multitasking. Ah, oh, don't do it, guys. The good thing this isn't a greater rift. I was like, and I'm dead. Okay. That's fucking annoying. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. For the past few sessions, we've been talking about job satisfaction and stuff like that. And all the while, I've kind of been thinking about work and how everything's just kind of become more shitty, I guess. And I was trying to think about where it all went wrong. And I think I have it generally pinpointed. Why am I even bothering with these guys? Ooh, get that. So yeah, back when we had this manager, she came from another store. A lot of people didn't like her. But I mean, I generally don't have a problem with managers as long as they don't, like, fuck with me or, like, basically try and micromanage what I do, like our district manager does. Like, case in point, every time I go get drinks or something for a table, and I usually don't fill up the cups all the way with ice, because why would you want a drink that's just full of ice? Like, no one likes that. So I'll fill it up halfway usually, and she'll always be like, can you actually just fill it up all the way, please? And I'm like, sure. And I'll do it until she's gone, because she's my district manager. I gotta do what she's saying. But yeah, just a case of point of what I don't like in managers. And managers who betray my trust, which we'll get into in a second. But this manager and I were pretty tight. Like, we would always talk about real shit. And I remember specifically one conversation where I was like talking to one of my coworkers about how I got a crappy station or whatever, and the manager I'm talking about walks by and she's like, yeah, I've been there, I remember that. I'm like, I don't know that. So I'm gonna have to blur out that name. Fuck. Bleep, you don't know about that. And she's like, yeah, I do. I used to serve, bartend, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. So, like, after that, I've always been kind of real with that manager. And, I remember one day I came into work, and, I didn't see her line up or anything. And then I go into the kitchen and I see that I got Employee of the Month. And I was like, what the heck? Like, what did I deserve? Why do I deserve to be Employee of the Month? I don't really do anything special. And I really don't. I just kind of try to do my work and get things done. I don't really play politics or anything like that. One thing I did used to do is I tried to get all the managers to like me as much as I could. Obviously, not everyone's going to like you. But I didn't try to make any enemies or anything like that. But back to the story. So I got Employee of the Month, And she's like, oh, Tim, I wanted to catch you at lineup to give you this. And it's like, because when you get Employee of the Month, you get a jacket or whatever. And I was like, oh, cool, thanks. And I think that's kind of where it all went downhill. Because I got this idea in my head that I, as an employee, was valued by the company, obviously, because, like, why the fuck would a company make you Employee of the Month if they didn't value what you're doing? And I remember one week where I just got, like, fucking angry teenager pissed off. Like, it was just a bad week. I don't know why. It was just like, oh, I do remember one specific day where I did blow up on one of the managers, and he's like, look, I'm in this with you. I'm not trying to hurt you or anything. But, so basically what happened was, a ton of people called out of work, and what that means is, like, they just called in and said, I can't show up to work for whatever bullshit reason that usually they come up with, so they can just go to a concert or something like that. Gosh, I have not been paying attention. Ooh, let's kill you. Alright. Ooh, 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 ooh. Anyway, so yeah, usually it's for bullshit reasons. Rarely are people calling out because, like, something actually happened. It's usually because they just couldn't get the day off and they need the day off to go to a concert, like I said. So a lot of people called out, and basically they turned a 20-table area, which is usually separated by, I want to say, 6 servers, and they gave it to me and another person. Just 2 people at night when it's, like, super busy as fuck. And I was just like, you've ruined me. Like, this is insane. Like, why would you think that we could do this? And I was just running around with my head cut off, basically, because, like, some guests have, like, ridiculous things they want. Like, I remember one guy wanted fucking soda water in, what was it, like, fucking pomegranate juice or something? Which, first of all, who the hell ever orders pomegranate juice? And I accidentally got him passion fruit instead, and I was like, God damn it, that took so long, I'm gonna have to go. And I fucking broke. And I was like, look, I need to get a manager's help. So I go over to my manager, not the same manager as the one I was talking about earlier. We'll just name him Bob for the sake of anonymity. And I'm like, look, Bob, I'm fucking losing it. I need help. And he's like, well, first of all, don't lose it. Fucking. And he's like, I'm glad you asked me for help. What do you need? And he genuinely helped me out. And he pulled me aside later, and he was like, look, you don't need to get upset. Like, because I think I had... Okay, so what happened was, I approached my GM in the kitchen because a food came out wrong for my table, and it severely fucked it up. So I was like, I don't remember exactly what I said, but my manager took it, like, the wrong way. So he thought I was being like annoyed, like acting annoyed about it, which I was annoyed, but I mean, usually when you have that kind of problem, you always have the same thing, be like, hey, they messed up, I need this. So anyway, my GM got really bothered by that, and Bob came up to me later and was like, you know, he didn't really like what you said, and next time I just wouldn't approach him like that. I'm like, what do you mean approach him like that? All I said was that I need this done because they messed up. And he's like, yeah, I understand that, but you can't approach people like that. And I'm like, because honestly, a lot of what happens at my work is politics and like tiptoeing around everything. And I'm not about that. I'm about, my motto that I always tell people is, fuck all that talking, just do it. So anyway, that day was kind of my tipping point into a week of just being pissed off as hell. And it was a week before my vacation to Florida, I think. Yes, it was. So it was right before my trip to Florida, because I remember I came back and I was like, really enjoyed the time away from work and stress. But yeah, it was kind of an extreme thing to go from like the employee of the month to being just like absolutely fed up and pissed off with your managers and everything. Like I literally just hated going into work at that time, and I don't really hate going into work. Like, you gotta stack that bread up, get that money. Like, these shoes don't afford themselves, am I right? Can you see my Yeezys in the background? Oh, go this way. Can you see my Yeezys? Oh, I gotta articulate myself. My Yeezys in the background. There we go. But yeah, work is work. You gotta do it to survive. So that was just kind of like how the dynamic changed in one way. And then I went to Florida, came back, a lot more chill, went back to just trying to be friends with all the managers. And it was pretty fine. I mean, about as fine as like being at Lucille's can be, when customers could go one way or another, just treat you shitty, give you bad tip, etc. So yeah, I came back just trying to be chill, not worrying about anything. I really made a concerted effort not to complain as much as I used to, and it was pretty great. We got a new manager that came in, and he used to like he was essentially like a substitute manager at times, I guess. But he was a really cool guy. I always like enjoyed talking to him because he was just so different than what you would think a typical manager would act like. He was really like, he kind of talked like me, like real street, like not formal. But anyway, one day I was working essentially a double shift because one other person couldn't come in. I was just helping him out. And it was getting towards the end of my shift, my second shift, not the first one. Like, I was done with the day, like so close to being over. I go in to turn in my money like you normally do when you're a server, and without getting into too much detail, if you really want to know the details, I'll probably put it, if a comment shows up, I'll just copy and paste what I've been telling people. But anyway, that manager I was talking about that was cool and doesn't act like most managers, really just, he betrayed me. He betrayed me. I was getting roasted by my AGM about some bullshit that didn't matter, and he betrayed me. And after that, like, this is currently where I'm at. I don't fuck with managers anymore. Like, there's only really one that I genuinely think is the best manager we have, and he's one of the only ones where I'm like, hey, how's it going, Bob? It's Bob, by the way. But all the other managers, I'm just kind of like, if they talk to me, they talk to me. I don't really make any kind of effort to socialize with them or anything. I'm just kind of going about my business, and it's kind of, and I think they can kind of tell now that I'm like that, because they won't try and like start up a conversation with me as much. They'll just kind of do it at the end of the shift when I'm like cornered and can't really do anything about it. Then they're kind of like, hey, so how was your shift? And I'm like, yeah, it was alright, you know, whatever. Like, just kind of generalizing any answers. But yeah, that was just kind of like the change in my work dynamic, which I think is a good way to handle things in life, because if you're always just trying to impress your bosses, trying to be friends with everyone, then you kind of just, how can I phrase this? Okay, here we go. You open yourself up to just getting wrecked, like I did when my manager betrayed me. Like, I I full on went on a Snapchat rant. Like, if you were around, like, you saw that, and a ton of people were asking me, like, what the fuck happened? And I mean, I'd be asking that too. I hope you just didn't hear me fart. That was pretty gnarly. Yeah, just like, my advice is, do your own thing. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Just stay in your lane, stack that bread up, get your money, and get out. Like, that's just gonna be me until I get the job I want to be at. Like, until you get there, just stop giving a fuck about the current situation. Just get on with what you need to do. And yeah. So I hope this video is as coherent as I drew it up in management class this morning. But guys, I'm definitely not going to be posting content as regularly as I want to. So just be patient. I always get people being like, where are the vlogs at? Where is this? Where are the videos? Like, and I'm like, well, if you would watch my live streams, yeah, assholes. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate people who watch my videos. But yeah, if you really just want to watch me play video games, which is really what I like doing, then tune in for my live streams. I don't really get too many people that follow me on Twitter, like for my personal friends, just because I'm like, I always tell people like, don't follow me on Twitter because I don't really post anything. But Instagram, Snapchat is where I'm definitely more active, and I am getting more active on Twitter. Like I'm always up in people's conversations, getting those impressions. Oh god, I gotta close out this video. Why am I still in this rift? Fucked up. Fuck that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.